What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Driving with Duck. Always on Facebook, most of the time on YouTube, and occasionally on Instagram. So I was watching a movie the other day that I watched probably like 13 years ago, 12 years ago maybe, called The Way. Written and directed by Emilio Estevez, starring Martin Sheen. It's a great movie. Has a lot of lessons in it, things you can take away from it. I won't really give the plot away because it'll kind of give the movie away. But there's a line in the movie that says, life isn't meant to be lived, it's meant to be experienced. And I know when I was younger, I heard that line, and I probably glossed over it simply because I was in my early 30s. Who the hell in their early 30s is really going to think about that? I had been through a lot by that time. I had hit my early 30s. Now that I'm in my 40s, I've been through so much more. Early 40s, I think I said early 40s. I've been through so much more. I've had so much happen in my life. And I've experienced a lot. Now, there's a difference between living your life and experiencing it. Now, when you just live your life, you're on autopilot, right? You have no feeling towards anything. You're just going on autopilot. You are doing your best to hit all the right metrics, right? By a certain age, you want to have a spouse. By a certain age, you want to have a house. By a certain age, you want to make a certain amount of money. By a certain age, you want to have, 1.1 kids. You want to hit all the right metrics to have what's supposed to be a average, above average, an exceptional life. But if you're going to experience life, you want to feel something. You want to feel what it's like to have exceptional moments. You want to feel what it's like to have the love of a tiny hand wrapped around your thumb. You want to feel what it's like to have your child mutter their first word, and hopefully it's going to be mommy or daddy, depending on who you are to them in their life. You want to kiss the one you love in the rain and know that that's the last person that you're ever going to kiss. You want to feel those moments. You want to live those moments in life. You want to experience those things. You want to know what it's like to walk away from a job that doesn't suit you anymore, to follow your dream, follow your passion, and not worry about where your next meal is going to come from, because you're going to follow your heart and take the thrill of the chase and go get after it. And by the skin of your teeth, you're going to make it. See, good, bad, or indifferent, that's experiencing life. See, the one difference that's really real between living your life and experiencing life, when you're living your life, people can have opinions on it and try and tell you what you should do to live your life because they can see all the metrics in front of you. When you're experiencing life, though, no one can really measurably tell you how to experience life. They can all have their opinion on it, but experiencing life is personal to you. People can tell you how to raise your children. They can see the life that you live and say, well, that's not right. Now, you can, have a 10-year-old kid, let's say, and you can, sit there drinking with them, smoking weed with them, whatever. Of course, that's wrong. And it's not right, obviously. Morally, it's not right. But experiencing that life, if you don't understand that that's wrong, what are you supposed to do with that? You know what I mean? There's mental health issues, mental health deficiencies, and so on and so forth. No one can really tell you what are you supposed to do with that. You know what I mean? That's an extreme case, though. You know what I mean? Like a more tame approach to it. If, like someone like me, when I'm going to a concert, let's say, if I, call in sick to work to go see a concert, and I'm living my best life, enjoying that music, and I'm experiencing it, and I'm getting all the emotional feels from seeing the artist and I called into work, that's me experiencing life. Whereas someone else may look at that and be like, dude, that's the most irresponsible thing you can do. You called out of work to go to a concert, but I'm experiencing life in the way that I feel is necessary. I needed that mental health day. I'm experiencing my life. I'm getting up under it. I'm getting after it. That's the experience that I need to feel alive. Experiencing life and living life, sometimes it's not going to work for some people. Sometimes it's not going to make sense to some people, but you have to do what you have to do in order to live that life so that you can feel something. That's the experience of it. That's how you grow. Experience is leveling up. In the realm of video games, as you gain experience, you level up, you learn more, you become more adaptable to your surroundings. If you're not learning from what you're doing, well, I mean, it's the very definition of insanity, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. That's insanity. So therefore, I guess that's just living your life. If you're living your life, that means you're doing the same shit over and over again and expecting something different. You're expecting something to change. And you're expecting the variables around you to change, not necessarily changing yourself. That must be the very, very real, or even surreal, for the opposite, definition of insanity. That's crazy when you think about it. But if you're going to experience life, you're going to have to do things that you probably never did before. Step outside of your comfort zone and handle things and manage things that don't sound normal to other people. And that's where you stop and start. You push and pull. You fall apart, put yourself back together. That's what most people would do, right? Just like, in the movie, The Way, which I suggest all of you see it, it's basically a father and son. They have two varying degrees on life. One is very structured. The father's very structured. The father's played by Martin Sheen. He's very structured in his life, very regimented. Son is a very free spirit. He has everything going for him, and he just decides, you know what? No, this is not my life. I can't do this anymore. I have to go see the world and live life very unstructured and free. This is just my calling. It's something that I need to do. And a lot of people are afraid to do that. They're afraid to step out on their own too and just go to their calling and do things out of the ordinary and off the cuff. Experiencing life sometimes requires you to think more outside the box, and not only that, but to do things that would seem otherwise crazy to a lot of people. Now, to me, in my life, I do a YouTube channel and post videos on my Facebook that are inspirational. Meanwhile, I have a lot of issues in my life and a lot of things that don't seem normal, but yet I try to inspire other people when there are times otherwise I don't feel inspired. How weird is that? Very outside the box. When I watched a movie the first time in my early 30s, now I'm in my early 40s, I've had a lot of weird things happen to me. I've watched an ex-girlfriend almost stroke out that I took care of for a couple years. I've, moved from place to place. A lot of things that I've done in my life, and a lot of things that I say, a lot of people look at me as narcissistic. A lot of people look at me as someone that doesn't consider other people's feelings. A lot of people look at me very different ways, some of them negative. But it is simply because I know what I am, and I know what I feel, and I know what I want, and I know what I accept. And there are things that I don't accept, that I don't like, that I don't want. And therefore, that works for me, not for other people, because my life is to be experienced, not to be just lived. And I always tell people, if you want to live your life, go ahead and live your life. But me, myself, I'm going to experience it. And I suggest you do more of the same. Simply because I don't subscribe to the way that you would like to live your life does not mean that I am not willing to let you experience yours. It's just that we're not experiencing it the same way. And people can't wrap their head around that principle. It's experiencing life. We can walk the same path and not share the same experiences looking at the same thing. People think that that's a weird way to look at life, but it's absolutely true, and it makes sense. Two people can look at the same painting and not experience the same emotion, right? Two people can go through the same exact trauma and not experience the same exact pain. Why? Because the pain threshold is different. The ideas and principles are different. The values are different. So therefore, they're not going to live the same reaction. People don't understand that. You know, if you look at, for example, the way people look at social media, some people experience social media in a different way than others. Some people will use social media to be passive aggressive. Some people take social media and they will post things on social media hoping it gets to another person's eyesight, or they'll say something third party and hope that another person reads it or sees it, rather than having a physical conversation. It's experience. Some people will telephone a mutual friend and have a third-party conversation hoping to bounce ideas off that person, hoping it gets back to that person that they were talking about. Experiences, right? Some people would rather talk to someone else about a person rather than going directly to that person because they feel more comfortable. Experiences. It's in the way that we live our life or we experience our life. If you want to live your life in 2D, that is perfectly fine, but you're going to miss everything else out, everything outside that has depth. That's why you should experience it. I'm going to the gym because this is now the new time that I go to the gym. So this has been a quick version of Driving with Duck. Hey, if you like these videos, go back on Facebook in the search bar, hashtag Driving with Duck, DRIVINWITHDUCK. On YouTube, look up Driving with Duck. Give it a subscribe. Hit that notification bell as well. Whenever new content is up, you'll be notified. I wish you the best day. Love and light, my friends.